Welcome back, guys. It's the Tightwad, and today I'm going to talk about my garage door. Sometimes during the middle of the day when it's bright and sunny, we'll attempt to close it and it just goes back up. But if I block the sun near the far right sensor, the door closes. I have a couple of other videos on my channel that I'll link in the top right corner right now. One of the issues that we found is with the bulbs that we replace in our garage door opener, causing interference. The symptom of that is that you can open the garage door fine, but when you try to close the garage door as you're leaving your home and the lights are still illuminated on the garage door opener, you're getting interference and your garage won't close. So click the link in the top right corner and see that video. Another one shows how to install one of these garage door keypads, and then a third one shows how to reprogram remote. So if you get a new remote, or if your remote stops working because the battery went dead, it shows you how to replace the battery and reprogram it with your garage door. So let's go ahead and get into the issue that we have today being caused by the sunlight though. First, I want to give you a little bit of information about these sensors. You'll notice that one of them has a green light on it, and the other one has a yellow or an amber light. This means that this one with the amber light is the sender. It's constantly sending a signal even when I block it. And this one with the green light is the receiver, so when I block it with my hand, the light turns off. Anything that gets between the two sensors lets the garage door know that there's an obstruction, so it won't close or open on the object. If you're having the issues that I'm having where the garage door won't close certain times of the day or sunny times of the day, you can get a Q-tip and clean off these sensors with just some glass cleaner, because there's a glass cover on them. So I've already tried that on mine and that didn't fix my issue. The next thing you can try is to make sure one of these didn't get bumped. You can see mine has a slight flicker in there. I don't know if that's due to bad connection or just an old unit, but when I move my hand in front of it, you see it cuts off. So you can loosen this wing nut and re-angle the sensor if you need to get a better connection. Over time, what I found is that these sensors lose their power or their signal strength, and the direct sunlight during the middle of the day, even if it's not hitting the sensor directly, will cause it to fail and the garage door will not close. If you do have sunlight coming in at a harsh angle and hitting directly on these sensors, it'll definitely make it stop working. I've seen people take cardboard and put a piece over the top of their sensor like this, where it doesn't interfere with the signal, but it provides a little bit of shade for that lens. So you can try that first. I've also seen people take an empty toilet paper roll and slide it over this to provide some additional protection as well. But I know those aren't my issues because I don't have direct sunlight hitting the sensors, so I'm actually going to replace these today. The first step in this process is to unplug your garage door opener, or you can cut the power from the main breaker box. We're going to start by replacing the end with the receiver, which is the green side. To do that, I'm going to unscrew the wire nuts. Make sure you check the current configuration of your wires before you get started. Black and white goes to the blue wire, and the blue and white goes to the white wires. I'm going to cut just behind the connection here so that I have a nice clean area of wire to work with. I'm having to swap out my brackets. If your new sensors are the same as your old sensors, then you can simply pull out the old sensor by releasing the wire nut and taking them out like this, and then you would just slide the new one in place. But I have the new style sensor, the old ones have been discontinued. To remove the old bracket, I'm going to take a screwdriver and go between these back pieces and bend them out a little bit. I'm not going to reuse them, and then they should pop right off. And to install the new ones, I'm going to put them in the same place. You're going to put the front pieces, the curved pieces on first, and then push towards the back, and they should snap into place. There's not really a click, but just make sure that these hooks on the front are out of the way of the track. Then make sure that the backside here is flush with the backside of your tracks. Now we can install the new sensors. So I'm going to insert the bolt in the backside. The bevel side with the little clear light area is what goes on the front. We put that in place, and then we tighten down our wing nut. You don't need it too tight yet because you will need to adjust it later. All right, now with that installed, we're going to separate the wires. So they just have a seam right down the middle. Just pull them apart a little bit, and we're going to take our wire strippers and strip off about a 1/2 inch. I'll make sure these wire strippers are linked in my Amazon storefront. I really like the ones that you strip in front of the joint. There are some that strip behind the joint and they're just awkward to get the wires in behind it. I really like these with the front stripping option. The previous installer had used wire nuts, which is okay to use. These are protected from the weather inside the garage, but the ones that come with the new sensors are actually these that you slide the wires into, and then you press down on this orangish yellow part here, this amber color, and it squeezes down onto the wires. These also have a gel in them that insulate from moisture getting in there. So with these, there are two little channels in the back side here. So I'm gonna stick one in one side and then the other and the other one here. Then we just take a pair of pliers and we pinch down on this amber colored tab and it locks it into place. Always pull on your wires a little bit to ensure that they're not going to pull out easily, to make sure you have a good connection. So with the next one, we're going to do the same thing. We have our white wire and our blue and white wire. I'm going to join them together. And sometimes you can actually push these down with your fingers, so you may not even need a pair of pliers. You probably noticed the curl on the other sensor, and I made that by just taking my wire and wrapping it around my screwdriver. What this does is that it not only allows you extra wire to work with, but it also provides extra wire in case something snags, so that it pulls the curl out instead of ripping the connection off. And now you'll just repeat the same process you used on the other side to get this one wired up. With the wires connected, you can plug your garage door opener back in. You verify that you have a solid green light on this side, solid amber light on the other side, and that when you block the signal, the light cuts off. In this particular unit's case, it flashes instead of just turning off completely. So that lets you know that you do still have power. That's not your issue, but there's an obstruction between it. So now to test this, I'm going to block it with my hand. I'm going to take my garage door remote and press the button. And I don't know if you can hear it, but the light on the opener is now flashing, indicating that there's an obstruction in the way. When I remove my hand and press the button, the garage door closes. So we'll test this tomorrow in the peak of the day and the brightest sunlight and make sure everything's good to go. The sun's shining really bright into the garage. I'm going to press the button on the remote. And you can see it now closes without issue. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. It'd be awesome if you'd click that logo in the bottom left-hand corner to subscribe to my channel, and maybe even check out one of my other videos shown on the right. As always, I hope you guys have a great day.